gentleman of excellent family, introduced under the most respectable conditions, in an atmosphere of elegance and refinement. Object, matrimony. Unfortunately, I won't be able to offer my usual lighting service this afternoon, as I have a previous appointment in Yonkers, New York, arranging the second marriage of Mr. Horace Vandergelder, the well-known half-a-millionaire. As my late husband, Ephraim Levi, used to say, that means he's got at least $60,000 cash. But I'll do my best to have you carried across somebody's threshold before the week is out. Now, I might also mention I'm available for financial consultation, instruction in the guitar and mandolin, short-distance hauling, and, sorry about that, and varicose veins reduced.
Call on Dolly. She's the one the spinsters recommend. Just name the kind of man your sister wants and she'll snatch him up. Don't forget to bring your maid and dance and she'll match him up. Call on Dolly.
Mrs. Levi.
Mr. Kemper, the artist. You know, I'm something of an artist myself. I do those silhouettes with scissors and black paper. Here's one of Barbara Streisand. Looking the other way, I have to do them like that because I'm no good at noses.
Mrs. Levi, the train for Yonkers leaves in 5 minutes. And if we don't get there on time...
But we will, Mr. Kemper. And not only will Horace Vandergelder give you permission to marry his niece, Ermengarde, but he will also dance at your wedding. And not alone either, because I happen to be engaged in finding him a suitable second wife himself. What he really wants is someone steady to clean the house. As my late husband, Mr. Levi, used to say, marriage is a bribe to make a housekeeper think she's a householder.
I know all about it, Mrs. Levi. Well, half New York says that he's gonna go propose to Mrs. Irene Malloy this very afternoon.
Which is exactly why I'm on my way to Yonkers this morning, Mr. Kemper, and can take on your case and knock off 4 lovebirds with 1 stone, or whatever I'll throw, I'll see. And well, what do you think of that? I have nothing here to pay my train fare with, only large bills, 5s and 7s.
Well, I have some change here somewhere, Mrs. Levi. I only hope this isn't a wild goose chase.
And speaking of poultry, I'm also available for fresh Jersey eggs. Surgical corsets reboned, ears pierced, pierced ears re-lodged.
Mrs. Levi.
Just name the kind of man your sister wants and she'll snatch him up. Don't forget to bring your maid and dance and she'll match him up. Call on Dolly.
Tell me, Mrs. Levi, what's in all this for you?
A living, Mr. Kemper. Some people paint, some sew. I meddle. I have always been a woman who arranges things for the pleasure and the profit it derives. I've always been a woman who arranges things like furniture and daffodils and knives. When a man with a timid tongue meets a girl in a dixie air, why should the taunted creatures beat around the bush when heaven on board. Ephraim Levi, I'm going to get married again. I'm going to marry Horace Vandergelder for his money and send it out circulating among the people like rainwater the way you taught me. And I want a sign from you sometime today that you approve. Oh, it won't be a marriage in the sense that we had one, but I shall certainly make him happy. And I'm tired, Ephraim, tired of living from hand to mouth. So I want that sign.
Mrs. Levi?
Sometime today.
Now, don't you worry, Mr. Kemper. We'll make that train. We'll get to Yonkers. You'll marry Ermengarde. Just leave everything to me.
For when my little pinky wiggles, some young maiden gets the giggles. Then I make my knuckles active. He says she's so attractive. Then I move my index digit, and they both begin to fidget. Then I clench my palm. The preacher reads the psalm when I put
And I say you're far too young to be in love with anybody. Here, take this.
I'm not too young. I'm 17, and in another year I'll be an old maid.
Well, I forbid it. Dare to be an old maid, Ermengarde, and I'll cut you off without a cent. And don't cry in front of the store.
I can't help it. I'm unhappy.
Well then, by thunder, you'll go and weep for a while in New York, where it won't be noticed. Now go upstairs and start packing your trunk. And don't get any tears on the lock. It was just oil.
You stamped, Mr. Vandergelder?
I did. I've got news for you both. I'm going to New York this afternoon to march in the 14th Street Association Parade. When I get back, you're going to have a mistress.
I'm too young, Mr. Vandergelder.
Not yours, hell and damnation, mine. I mean, I'm getting married again. And in honor of that occasion, I've decided to promote you, Cornelius, to chief clerk.
And what am I now, Mr. Vandergelder?
You're an impertinent fool. And I'm promoting you from impertinent fool to chief clerk. Any more questions?
Yes.
What?
Does chief clerk get one evening off a week?
So that's the way you thank me for your promotion, is it? No, sir! You'll attend to the store as usual. Now get back to work. And don't forget to put the lid on the sheep dip. Evenings off. Marrying artists. Foolishness! 99% of the people in this world are fools. And the rest of us are in great danger of contamination. Why, even I was once young, which was foolish, and got married, which was foolish, and was poor, which was more foolish than anything else. Then my wife died, which was foolish of her. I grew older, which was sensible of me, and became rich, friendless, and mean, which in Yonkers is about as far as you can go. I know what you're wondering now. Why a man with so much good sense should be planning anything as foolish as getting married again? Well, the answer is simple. This house without a woman would be an empty shell. And pretty dirty, too. It takes a woman all powdered and pink to joyously clean out the drain in the sink. And it takes an angel with long golden lashes and soft dresden fingers for dumping the ashes.
Yes, it takes a woman, a dainty woman, a sweetheart, a mistress, a wife. Oh yes, it takes a woman, a fragile woman, to bring you the sweet things in life.
The frail young maiden who's constantly there for washing and brewing and shoeing the men. And it takes a female for setting the table and weaning the Guernsey and cleaning the stable.
Yes, it takes a woman, a dainty woman, a sweetheart, a mistress, a wife. Oh yes, it takes a woman, a fragile woman, to bring you the sweet things in life. And so she'll work until infinity reaches hope and longanimity. Rock, 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 F-E-M-I-T-Y.
Get out of here! Out! And in the winter she'll shovel the ice and lovingly set out the traps for the mice. She's a joy and treasure, for practically speaking, to whom can you turn when the plumbing is leaking?
To that dainty woman, that fragile woman, that sweetheart, that mistress, that wife. Oh yes, it takes a woman.
A husky woman to bring you the sweet things in life.
Oh yes, it takes a woman, a dainty woman, a sweetheart, a mistress, a wife. Oh yes, it takes a woman, a fragile woman, to bring you the sweet things in life.
All right, get out of here. Out!
Congratulations, congratulations, 1,000 congratulations.
What? What?
Congratulations, Mr. Van de Gelder. All New York is buzzing with the news that you've practically proposed to Irene Malloy. The streets are lined with eligible young ladies prostrate with grief. All my congratulations and sympathy.
Sympathy?
Did I say that? A slip of the tongue, that's all. No, I'm delighted with the happy news. After all, she wasn't easy to unload. By that I mean, you know what people said. Although I, for one, never believed the rumors. No, I didn't.
Rumors? What rumors?
Nothing to get upset about, Mr. Van de Gelder. I mean, according to all known facts, her first husband passed on quite naturally. It's just that he went so sudden. A few spoons of chowder she made special for him and... But it could happen to anyone. No, there's no truth in it. Just one word of advice, Mr. Van de Gelder. Eat out.
Mrs. Levi, you mean to say that Mrs. Malloy...
I mean to say nothing, Mr. Van de Gelder. Just friendly advice. Keep away from the chowder. By the way, she's ordered her wedding gown. Beautiful. You should see it. Black. Well, as I was saying before, Mr. Van de Gelder, congratulations on your forthcoming nuptials, and may you rest in... I mean, may guardian angels watch over you both, particularly at dinner.
Now look here, Mrs. Levi. You introduced me to Mrs. Malloy, and rumors or no rumors, I still intend calling on her this afternoon, as arranged.
Very well, then I suppose there's nothing more for me to do but go back to New York and tell the other girl, the heiress, not to wait.
What did you say?
Nothing. A word, heiress.
Particulars, Mrs. Levi. I demand particulars. Her name?
Her name? Money? Ernestina Money?
What a lovely, lovely name.
Picture, if you will, hair as shiny as a newly minted dime, eyes as big round as silver dollars, skin as soft and mossy as an old greenback.
I can feel her now.
Age 19, weight 102, waist 47.
Waist 47?
That's with the money belt. Now, I could arrange for you to meet this Ernestina this very afternoon.
I ain't got time, Mrs. Levi. I have to take my niece Ermengarde to New York this afternoon until she forgets a certain Ambrose Kemper.
I can do that for you, Mr. Van de Gelder. I know just how to handle such things.
Well, then I'm marching in the 14th Street Association Parade.
What an amazing coincidence. Guess who's been chosen to ride on the main float? The spirit of 14th Street. Miss Money. Her mother was a cash, you know.
All right, Mrs. Levi, I'll meet Miss Money at the end of the parade. But I still intend paying another call on Mrs. Malloy first.
Oh, dear. What races you make me run. Very well, then, Mr. Van de Gelder. I'll meet you on that bench in front of Mrs. Malloy's hat shop at 2:30 as usual.
Oh, one more thing, Mrs. Levi. Suppose I decide against Mrs. Malloy, and I don't like Miss Money neither.
Well, I happen to have one more name on my list. A name I know as well as my own. But let's not go into that now. It'll come up all by itself in good time. Don't you worry about that. Oh, but wait till you see Ernestina Horace. A vision. A dream.
It takes a woman of powder and paint to joyously clean out the drain in the sink. And it takes an angel with long golden lashes and soft as the fingers for dumping the ashes.
Yes, it takes a woman. You know, Ephraim, I think I'll have that room done over in blue wallpaper. Yes, in blue. Ermengarde, Ambrose, come on out here. We've got plans to make.
Chief clerk. Promoted from chief clerk to chief clerk. And if I'm good, in 10 years I'll be promoted to chief clerk again. I'm 33 years old and I still don't get an evening off. When am I going to begin to live, Barnaby?
You could live on holidays, Cornelius.
Oh, did you forget what we did last Christmas? All those canned tomatoes went bad and exploded, and you and I cleaned up the mess all afternoon? Do you call that living? No. Barnaby, you and I are going to New York.
You mean close the store?
Uh-huh.
Cornelius, we can't.
We'll have to. Some more rotten tomato cans are going to explode.
Holy cabooses. How do you know?
I'm gonna light this candle under them, that's how I know. They'll make such a smell, customers won't be able to come into the place for 24 hours. That ought to get us an evening off. We're going to New York, Barnaby, and we're going to live, and we're going to be in danger, and we're going to spend our money, and we're going to have a good meal, and we're going to be arrested.
Holy cabooses!
And one more thing, Barnaby. We're not coming back to Yonkers until we've each kissed a girl.
Cornelius, we can't do that. Besides, we don't know any girls.
Oh, I'm 33 years old. I've got to begin sometime.
I'm 17, Cornelius. It's not so urgent for me.
New York, Barnaby. Elevated trains, the lights of Broadway, the stuffed whale at Barnum's Museum.
A stuffed whale?
A stuffed whale. What do you say?
Yes, Cornelius, yes.
Now, the first thing to do is to make you financially independent. I know I'll find you a job. Can you dance?
I'm an artist, Mrs. Levi. I paint.
Well then, my card.
Mrs. Dolly Levi. Painters taught how to dance.
Now, there's a name. Rudolph Wright
cousin Weber at the Harmonia Gardens restaurant on 14th Street. I'll give you a note for him, and we'll see if he can't have you both entered in the polka contest tonight. The prize is a week's engagement and a gold cup. Oh, the cups we won, Ephraim and me.
Now hold on, Mrs. Levi. No fiancé of mine is going to set foot in a cafe. And I don't mind saying that I'm surprised that you have acquaintances in a place like that.
Not acquaintances, Mr. Kemper. Friends. Dear friends from days gone by. My late husband, Ephraim Levi, believed in life and any place you could find it. Cafes, ballrooms, yes, even theaters. Why, even when times were bad, every Saturday night, like clockwork, down those stairs at the Harmonia Gardens we came. Ephraim and me.
It's all very well to come down like clockwork, Mrs. Levi. But you're asking Ermengarde to work there.
It's the only way to show Horace Vandergelder that we mean business. Now, you go to the Harmonia Gardens this afternoon and tell them Mrs. Levi sent you. And incidentally, tell Rudolph that Dolly's coming back, and I want a table for two and a chicken for 8 o'clock tonight.
Now, hold the candles up to the ones on top, Cornelius. No, not too close. They look like they're ready to burst. Oh, holy cabooses. I can smell it from up here. Come on, Barnaby. We're going to New York. Out there, there's a world outside of Yonkers. Way out there beyond this hick town, Barnaby. There's a slick town, Barnaby. Out there, full of shine and full of sparkle. Close your eyes and see it glisten, Barnaby. Listen, Barnaby. Put on your Sunday clothes, there's lots of world out there. Bring out the brilliantine and dime cigars. For I can feel adventure in the evening air. Girls in white in a perfume night, where the lights are bright as the stars. Put on your Sunday clothes, we're gonna ride through town in those new horse-drawn open cars. We'll see the shows at Delmonico's, and we'll close the town in a whirl, and we won't come home until we've kissed a girl.
Put on your Sunday clothes and you feel down and dark. Stroll down the street and have your picture done. Dress like a dream, your spirit seems to turn around. That Sunday shine
take the place of her late husband, Mr. Peter Malloy. Well, may he rest in peace, wherever he is. I'm not sure. He's a caution, you know. It's not too much of late husbands and new marriages, and on top of everything else, Miss Mortimer returning the cat for the third time. Same old story. She wants more cherries and feathers. Cherries and feathers. Although if you ask me, she'd do better with a nice heavy veil. I told her ribbons down our back is what we'll be wearing this summer if we want to catch a gentleman's eye. But she'd have none of it. Cherries and feathers she wants on today of all days from that poor, dear, sweet Mrs. Malloy has enough on her mind. What with that?
With what, Minnie?
Oh, with the door. It's stuck.
It's stuck. Then push.
Mrs. Malloy, I could bite out my tongue for the things I've said and the things I'm going to say, but as long as I've gone this far, I might as well go all the way. Mrs. Malloy, why?
Say it, Minnie. Why have I decided to marry Horace Vandegelder?
Mrs. Malloy, I didn't ask you that. I'd rather die in a rack than ask you such a personal question. But as long as you did bring it up.
I'm marrying Horace Vandegelder for one reason, and one reason alone, Minnie. To get out of the millinery business. I hate hats.
Mrs. Malloy!
And I can no longer stand being suspected of being a wicked woman with nothing to show for it.
Mrs. Malloy!
Don't protest, Minnie. All millineresses are suspected of being wicked women. That's why I can't go into restaurants or balls or theaters. That's all the proof they'd need. Take my word for it, Minnie. Either I marry Horace Vandegelder or I break out of this place like a fire engine. Oh, no. Not Miss Mortimer again.
Miss Mortimer, I'll take care of it.
No, Minnie, leave it be. You can make another hat for Miss Mortimer if you like. I'm wearing this one myself.
Miss Malloy, you can't! Well, you're a widow, and that hat, well, it's provocative, that's what.
Is it, Minnie? Well, who knows who may come into the shop today? And provocative may just be what I want to be.
Miss Malloy!
I'll be wearing ribbons down my back this summer. Blue and green and streaming.
Mrs. Malloy, the wild horses couldn't make me ask the next question I'm about to ask, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Do you love Horace Van de Gelder?
No, Minnie, I don't. Peter Malloy, God rest him, was my share of love. And I'm not saying I was shortchanged. Once is enough for a woman, as long as it's true love. And it was that. Minnie, look. There's 2 men staring at the shop.
Men?
Why, I do believe they mean to come in here.
Men in a shop? Mrs. Malloy, what shall we do?
Do? I flirt with them, of course. I'll give you the short one.
Mrs. Malloy, and with all that talk about love.
Love enough I've had, Minnie. It's a bit of adventure I could do with now. We'll get them all good and heated up and then drop them cold. It'll be good practice for married life. Let's go into my workroom. I know some ways we can perk up our appearances. Besides, a bit of a wait will only make them more nervous and easier for us
If you say vampire, I'll scream.
Vampire. And so I'll try to make it easier to find me in the stillness of July, because a breeze might stir a rainbow behind me that might happen to catch a gentleman's eye. Oh, Minnie, we'll get an adventure out of this yet.
We'll get an adventure out of this yet, Barnaby. All day long we wander around New York and nothing happens. And then we come to the quietest street in the city and suddenly Van de Gelder. Is he still out there? Go look. He's sitting right on that bench out there, Cornelius. Are you sure this is an adventure? Oh, Barnaby, you don't have to ask. If you're in one, you'll know it all right. How much money do you have left? Oh, not much. 40 cents for the train ride home, 30 cents for dinner, and 20 cents to see the whale. 90 cents. Why? When those women come back, we'll have to pretend to be customers. Yes, customers. Maybe the best thing to do is make them think we're rich. Then we won't have to spend anything. We're 2 men about town looking for hats for ladies. Good afternoon, Mrs.
Malloy.
Here, Cornelius Hackle. Here, Barnaby Tucker.
My pleasure, gentlemen. What can I do for you two?
Well, you see, we're 2 ladies about town looking for some hats for Malloy. We want a hat. For a lady, of course, and everybody said to go to Mrs. Malloy's because she's so pretty. I mean, her hats are so pretty. And so reasonable, too. As reasonable as under $1. Still leave us enough to see the whale. You've got to pay him no mind, ma'am. You see, he's come all the way from Yonkers to see the stuffed whale, and he's all excited. Just keep an eye on the street, Barnaby, and maybe you'll see it pass by. Is he big and mean with bitty little eyes? Yes. He's sitting right on that bench out there.
Excuse me, but did you say Yonkers, Mr. Hackle?
Oh, yes, ma'am, Yonkers. And forgive me for saying this, but you really should see Yonkers. By that, I mean perhaps Mr. Malloy might like to see Yonkers, too.
I'm a widow, Mr. Hackle.
You are? Barnaby, she's a widow! Oh, well, that's too bad. I'm sure Mr. Malloy would have enjoyed Yonkers, too. Especially in that hat. I mean on you, of course, not Mr. Malloy, may he rest in peace. You're Catholic, aren't you? Well, don't let that worry you. I'd be willing to change. Mrs. Malloy, if you should ever have a Sunday free in the near future, I would be more than pleased to show you Yonkers from top to bottom.
Well, as a matter of fact, I may be there sooner than you think.
Oh, really?
You see, I have a friend who lives in Yonkers.
Do you?
Perhaps you know him.
Perhaps we do.
Although it's usually so silly to ask in cases like that, isn't it? It's a Mr. Van de Gelder.
Horace Van Gelder? Van de Gelder's hay and feet?
Oh, do you know him?
Oh, no.
Mr. Van de Gelder's well liked, and he's a substantial man, they tell me.
Oh, a lovely man, Mrs. Malloy. Just lovely. Has only one fault as far as I know. He's hard as nails. Cornelius, I think that...
Now, perhaps your friend might like this one.
Look out! Oh. Begging your pardon, Mrs. Malloy.
Oh, gentlemen, what are you doing?
Help us, Mrs. Malloy. We'll explain this all later. We're as innocent as could be, Mrs. Malloy. Honest.
Oh, come out of there this minute. Oh, Mr. Hackle, Mr. Tucker, I must insist that you both come out right this minute, or I'll be forced to... Mr. Vandergelder.
Mrs. Malloy? Don't suppose Mrs. Levi is here, is she? She was supposed to meet me on that bench 10 minutes ago. Well, she'll just have to go looking for me if she comes. When I make an appointment, I expect people to be on time. Here's a present for you. Chocolate-covered peanuts, unshelled. That's the expensive kind. Did I just see you talking with two men?
Men? Men, Mr. Vandergelder. Now, what would men be doing in a ladies' hat shop? Let's go into my workroom. I'm so anxious for you to see it.
I saw it last week.
So you did. Well, Mr. Vandergelder, what's new in the hay and feed business? Oh, I hear you have 3 friends. All as hard as nails. Oh,
What on earth are you talking about?
Yonkers. I hear it's a very beautiful city.
And who's been telling you about Yonkers, may I ask?
Nobody. A friend.
What friend?
You see,
He?
a customer, Mr. Vandergelder. He was in here buying hats for ladies. Someone quite well-to-do, as a matter of fact. You might know him, although it's usually so silly to ask in cases like that, isn't it? It's a Cornelius Hackle.
Did you say Hackles?
Yes.
He happens to be my head clerk, that's all, Mrs. Malloy. I demand an explanation.
And I'm going to give it to you. Why shouldn't she know Cornelius Hackle? Everybody in New York knows Cornelius Hackle. He's here at the opera, in all the fashionable homes. Why, he's at the Harmonia Gardens restaurant 3 times a week.
That's impossible. He's only got $146.38, and I keep it in my own safe.
Oh, Mr. Vandergelder, you're killing me. He's one of the Hackles. They built the canal.
What canal?
The Peary. Both.
It ain't the same man.
Who took the horses out of Jenny Lind's carriage and pulled her through the streets? Cornelius Hackle. And who dressed up as a waiter at the Fifth Avenue Hotel and dropped an oyster down Mrs. Astor's? Oh, I can't say, but it was Cornelius. He's the playboy of New York. Now, Irene, don't deny it. I can see you were taken with him just like anybody else.
No, really, Dolly, I've only seen him once in my life. Really, Dolly.
Excuse me? Of course.
Closet?
No, Mr. Vandergelder, you can't. It's too dangerous.
No man that hides in ladies' closets can frighten me, Mrs. Levi. Stand aside.
No man, indeed. I'm sure you'd make short work of any man. Those muscles, I can see them now rippling back and forth under your coat. Ripple, 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 back and forth. Ripple, ripple, ripple.
Mrs. Levi, for the last time, will you stand aside?
Stand indeed, Mr. Vandergelder. That's exactly what the court will want to know when you're accused of entering that closet without a search warrant. I mean, what you stand for if you don't stand for the law of this great land. I know what I stand for. I stand for motherhood, America, and all that much. For ribbons, take off your hat. The fancy rock is flying, passing. Do you see him on the hill? And yes, he's heard the victory triumphal arch. If you see the monsters trembling through the graves of wrath, stand up and march, march, march.
Has this not affected you, sir? I came here as a young immigrant child at 14 years of age, and I must echo here what was said to me by that great and patriotic American, Moses. I stand for motherhood, America, and a hot lunch for orphans. Take off your hat, sir. There's a tear-stained eagle passing. Do
closet. God bless you.
Mrs. Malloy!
All right, Mr. Vandergelder. There is a man in that closet.
Aha!
And another one underneath that table.
What the devil?
There also happens to be a very simple explanation. But for the present, good afternoon.
Good Lord, the whole room is crawling with men. I'll never get over it. I take it I'll see you later on this afternoon, Mr. Vandergelder.
You certainly will, Mrs. Levi, with a certain young lady on the main float at the end of the parade. Good day, Mrs. Malloy.
Everything, Mrs. Malloy.
I do not wish to hear any explanations, Mr. Hackle. Just you and Mr. Tucker do me the pleasure of leaving my shop at once, or I shall call for Officer Gogarty.
Well, if you ask me, Irene, calling an officer is letting them off too easy. The law courts, that's where they belong. I've been adding up the legal offenses these two have committed, and believe me, you've got grounds for at least 2 writs, a non-compos mentis, and a garnishee. Now, the main thing is to show that you tried to settle it amicably first. Have dinner with them.
Dinner?
Is that absolutely necessary, Dolly?
It's the way things are done in the law, Irene. Dinner first, garnishee afterwards.
Well, if it must be, Mr. Hackle, Mr. Tucker, you may take Miss Fay and myself to dinner.
Delighted, Mrs. Malloy. I speak for Barnaby, too. Now I hear there's this nice little restaurant around the railroad station. And...
Oh, no, Mr. Hackle. If the Harmonia Gardens is good enough for your fashionable friends, it's good enough for us. They say they have a lovely orchestra there, Minnie.
Oh, we couldn't go there. Now, don't misunderstand me. It isn't the money or anything like that. It's just, it's the whale. It's the whale. No, it isn't the whale, Barnaby. It's the dancing. Well, you see, they have dancing in a place like that. Exhibitions, even contests, and I don't know how. And it would take me months, weeks, years to learn. But Mrs. Dolly Levi, 33-year-old chief clerk's taught how to dance.
Now, it's simple. You put one arm here and one arm here.
Oh, it's no use, Mrs. Levi. I have absolutely no sense of rhythm.
Absolutely no sense of rhythm is one of the primary requirements for learning by the Gallagher-Levi method. Just give me 5 minutes of your time, Mr. Hackle, and I'll have you dancing in the streets. Now, we'll start with lesson 7, the waltz kick turn. Now, it's simple. Right foot touch, left foot touch, under, back, around, touch, back, through, around, behind, out, over, release, unfurl. That's wonderful when I think of the lucky women who find heaven in your arms. Now, let's go back to lesson 1. Put your hand on her waist and stand with her right in your left hand. And 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Look, I'm dancing! Well, I was.
Of course you were, Mr. Hackle. Take the someone whose arms you're in. Hold on to her tight and spin. And 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Wow, I'm dancing!
Turn around and turn around, try floating through the air.
Someone you hardly know, but wish you were closer to. Remember that he can be near to you while you're dancing. Though you've only just said hello, he's suddenly someone can make all your daydreams appear to you while you're dancing. Make the music leave a spell, move away your worries. These are closed twice as well when this night leaves blurry. Around and around you go. Your spirits will hit the top. And now that we're dancing, who cares if we ever stop? 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And now that we're dancing, who cares if we ever stop? Well, look who's here. Mrs. Levi. How are you, Mrs. Levi?
How are you, Mrs. Rose?
The same. Pains in my back, aches in my side, stabs in my liver. How's going? My daughter Betty got married, you know.
Did she?
Year ago, last September. It's been a long time since you lived here, Miss Levi. A long, long time.
Ephraim, let me go. It's been long enough, Ephraim. Every evening for all these years, I've put out the cat, I've locked the door, I've made myself a little rum toddy. And before I went to bed, I said a prayer thanking God that I was independent, that no one else's life was mixed up with mine. Then one night an oak leaf fell out of my Bible. I placed it there when you asked me to marry you, Ephraim. A perfectly good oak leaf, but without color and without life. And I suddenly realized that I was like that leaf. For years, I had not shed one tear. Nor had I been filled with a wonderful hope that something or other might turn out well. And so, I've decided to rejoin the human race. And Ephraim, I want you to give me away. Before the parade passes by, I'm gonna get in step while there's still time left. Before the parade before the parade passes by, I'm gonna go and taste Saturday's highlights. Before the parade passes by, I'm gonna get some life back into my life. I'm ready to move out in front. I've had enough of just passing by life with the rest of them, with the best of them. I can hold my head up high, for I'm going to fall again. I'm going to drive again. I'm going to feel my heart coming alive again before the look at that road up ahead. Listen and hear that drum roll. Look at that road up ahead. Pardon me, I'm here, darling. All the lights over there seem to be telling me where I'm going. When the whistles blow and the people cry and the stars
passes by. Listen and hear that brass harmony growing. When the parade passes by, pardon me if my old spirit is showing. All those lights over there seem to be telling me where I'm going. When the whistles blow and the cymbals crash and the spotlights light the sky, I'm gonna raise the roof, I'm gonna carry on. Give me an old trombone, give me an old baton, before the parade passes by.
Levi, beautiful. Everything you said and more. Don't move, Miss Money. I'm coming. I'm on my way. Hey, you! Cut that out! That's my fiancée! Stop! Thief! Pickpocket! I paid for that girl and I want all the parts! Miss Money, what have they done to you? Mrs. Levi, what is the meaning of this?
Nothing to get upset about, Horace. A last-minute substitution. Miss Money had a sudden, urgent business appointment at the Mint. They ran a little short and she's helping out. But she'll meet you at the Harmonia Garden restaurant tonight at 8 o'clock.
It's the most expensive restaurant in the city.
And, well, it should be. What food! And the fastest waiters in New York. By the way, I might be a little late, so Miss Money will meet you in front of the restaurant.
All right, Mrs. Levi, I'll be there. But only because I already paid for the introduction and I might as well get my money's worth. But from now on, you are hereby discharged as my marriage broker. Is that clear? From now on, Dolly Gallagher, you're just a woman, like anybody else. Ah, why are you taking me? Stop! What's going on?
Ephraim, he's as good as mine. I'm gonna raise the roof. I'm gonna carry on. Give me an old trombone. Give me an old baton. Before the parade passes by.
misunderstanding. It isn't the money or anything like that. It's just that nowadays, really elegant people never take hacks.
Hacks is out.
They all go by streetcar.
J.P. Vanderbilt, Diamond Jim Morgan.
Well, then, by all means, a streetcar.
Just imagine, I've been elegant all my life and I never even knew it.
Of course, if you really want to be elegant,
We do?
you walk.
Yes, New York, it's really us, Barnaby and Cornelius.
All the guests of Mr. Hackle are feeling great and look spectacular.
What's the matter? There is to that acting like a born aristocrat. We got elegance. If you ain't got elegance, you can never ever carry it off.
All who are well-bred agree Minnie Fay has pedigree.
Exercise your wildest whims tonight. We are out with diamond gems tonight.
Silver spoons were used for feeding us. We got elegance. If you ain't got elegance, you can never ever carry it off. Middle class, don't speak of it, savoir-faire. We reek of it, some were born with rags and catches, but we use dollar bills for matches and
Kowtows to us.
J.P. Morgan scrapes and bows to us.
we got elegance. We were born with elegance.
Have you noticed when I hold my cup, the saucer never moves?
And the way I keep my pinky up into the tablet.
Got elegance with our friends. With elegance and with got elegance. You can never ever carry it off. We got elegance. We got elegance.
Oh, look, Minnie. They're counting their money again. Isn't that just like the rich? Well, gentlemen, aren't you going to escort us in?
Of course we are, Mrs. Malloy. Barnaby. Mrs. Malloy.
Yes, Mr. Hackle.
Mrs. Malloy, as we go inside, may I?
Yes, Mr. Hackle.
May I put my arm around your waist?
Yes, Mr. Hackle. But I might as well warn you, a corset is a corset.
But I don't want to be on the stage. I just want to get married.
You heard what Mrs. Levi said. This is the only way to show your uncle we mean business. Now, can you weep a little bit faster? You're throwing me off step. Faster. That's it.
That tonight of all nights, our usual lightning service shall be twice as lightning as ever. Or else. Satisfactory, sir. The private dining rooms do cost a bit more, but they provide the best view of the entertainment. $1.45, Cornelius? That's all that's left. Are you sure? Count it again.
Prepare yourself for a big night, Minnie. We're out with two of New York's best-known sports.
I was wrong, Cornelius. It's only $1.35. I'll count once more. No, don't. We can't afford it.
Oh, I'm going to order everything on the menu. Waiter!
This table is reserved for Mrs. Levi and party.
And who do you think I am? Only it's Horace Vandergelder and party. She's in my party, I ain't in hers.
Mr. Vandergelder, of course. It's just that Mrs. Levi mentioned nothing about you bringing your...
Oh, I'm personal physician. That's enough rouge, doctor.
But Mrs. Levi ordered chicken for two.
Chicken! Chickens are dear.
Un pâté maçon, soup de jour, roast black.
Why didn't you tell me this was an Oriental establishment? We'll take 2 bowls of rice. Now get out of here. Miss Money, I understand you carry respectable sums in your belt?
Yeah, $2. Only it's in my garter. To worry about our reputations, Cornelius. But Minnie and I don't care who sees us tonight. Well, Minnie, what have you decided?
I couldn't have anything at these prices. I really couldn't.
Oh, great rhinestones. What a sensible girl. Waiter, bring us 4 glasses of beer, a loaf of yesterday's bread, and some cheese.
Yesterday's bread? Cornelius, now I know how you keep half of New York in stitches all the time. Minnie, have you ever eaten pheasant?
Pheasant?
Say, why'd you close the curtains? You ashamed or something?
No, not that. It's just that I felt a slight chill, that's all.
Oh, why didn't you say so? Here, I'll loan you this.
Now let's order something to hold us till the rice comes. Waiter! I'll have a roast suckling pig with chestnut and oyster dressing, cheese fondue, and some lady fingers. Now what'll you have? Cornelius, but I'm sure the pheasants are fresh. We'll take 4, please. And a nice red wine.
Wait a minute, no wine.
No wine?
Champagne.
Champagne?
It's a once-in-a-lifetime, Barnaby. Champagne and Neapolitan ice cream and hothouse peaches. And Barnaby, give the band leader a nickel and tell him to play 2 a Wild Rose. We want music while we dine.
Say, this is a cafe, isn't it? Let's dance.
The Vandergellers do not dance, Miss Money. We're Presbyterian.
Fine, I'll dance myself. Give the band leader $2 and tell him to play something refined. I'm gonna do the hoochie coochie.
Okay, Cornelius, I'll give a nickel to the band leader, but promise you won't order anything else?
You wait here, Miss Money. I'll tell them to play a nice waltz. Give this to the band leader and tell him to play a waltz.
Here's a nickel for the band leader. Would you tell him to play? And 2 more pheasants, please.
Cornelius! My purse!
My wallet!
Here, you, that's my purse. Miss Money, get off the table! You're dancing in a stew!
Excuse me? Oh, that's my wallet. I know it's mine because all that's in there is $1 3 times and a... Cornelius! Did they say 2 pheasants? 3, 4 pheasants for the house! Never mind the rail, I'll buy one of my own!
Sir, sir! What's this shouting? How many times have I told you not to shout, boy? This is the Harmonia Gardens, not one of those.
But sir, she's here, the lady.
What? Are you sure, boy?
Like you said, sir, 8 o'clock on the nose. Up pulls the carriage and out steps a tall lady with red hair and the biggest handbag I ever saw.
It is, it's Dolly, she's back!
Rudolph, is it true? I heard someone laughing outside the window, sound like.
It is, it's Dolly! Fritz, go tell the band leader. She just stepped out of her carriage.
Rudolph, it's true, no?
It's true, yeah. She just stepped out of a white and gold carriage, pulled by 6 black horses with scarlet blue.
Oh, Rudolph, it's like old times again. Rudy! She's here.
Gallagher? What are you doing in that get-up? And you're half an hour late. Then I demand an explanation of...
Ernestina.
Exactly.
Ernestina, whom I trusted.
She wanted to do the hoochie-coochie.
Well, she always was artistic. Horace, I'm going to have our table moved right down front. There's someone in the dance competition I particularly want you to see. Another word about it. I'm as shocked as you are. I can't even think. What have you ordered?
What you asked for, chicken. Now, see here, Dolly, about that hoochie-coochie girl.
Did you say a chicken? I don't think I could face a chicken. Not a chicken. Not today. Not after what's happened.
Good. Cancel the chicken.
And bring a turkey.
Now what are you up to?
Nothing. Just looking the place over. Getting acquainted with the surroundings.
That's the trouble with you, Dolly. Always have to know everything that's going on. You're always sticking your nose into other people's affairs. Anybody who married you would get as nervous as a cat.
What? What's that you're saying?
Said anybody who married you would get as
Horace Vandergelder, get that idea right out of your head this minute. I'm surprised that you even mentioned such a thing. Understand once and for all that I had no intention of marrying you.
I didn't mean that.
Well, I certainly do hope not. Horace Vandergelder, you go your way and I'll go mine. I'm not some Irene Malloy whose head can be turned by a few chocolate-covered peanuts. Unshelled. Why the idea of you even suggesting such a thing?
Mrs. Levi, you misunderstood me.
Well, I certainly do hope not. But if I had any intention of marrying again, it would be to a far more pleasure-loving man than you. However, we won't discuss it anymore. Here's the waiter with our food. I'll serve Mr. Vandergelder, Rudolph. Now, here's some white meat for you. And some dumplings, lighter than air they are. And some giblets, very tender and very good for you. Now, as I said before, you go your way, and I'll go mine. Start right in on the wine. I think you'll feel better at once. However, since you brought the matter up, I think there is one more thing I ought to say.
I didn't bring the matter up at all.
One more thing I ought to say before we forget all about it. It's true. I'm a woman who likes to manage things, who likes to know anything that's going on. But I wouldn't like to manage anything as out of control as your household. You'll have to do that yourself, God helping you.
It's not out of control.
Very well, then. Let's not say another word about it. Have some beets, Horace. They're good.
I don't like beets.
That's good. No, Horace, a complaining, quarrelsome, friendless soul like you is no sort of companion for me. You salt your beets, and I'll salt mine.
Will you stop saying that?
I won't say another word.
Good.
Except this. At your age, Horace, you should enjoy hearing the honest truth.
My age? My age? You're always talking about my age.
Well, I don't know what your age is, but I do know that up in Yonkers with bad food and bad temper, you'll double in 6 months. Have some more beets, they're good.
I don't like beets. I hate beets.
That's nice. And yes, the pity of it is you could be a perfectly charming, witty, amiable man if you wanted to.
I don't want to be charming.
But you are. Look at you now. You can't hide it. Now sit down, Horace, and let's talk of something else. But before we change the subject, there is one more thing I am going to say.
Well, I don't want to hear it. And you're wasting your time, Dolly Levi. I will not ask you to marry me.
Well, then, I suppose that means you want me to ask you. Well, I'm sorry, Horace, I'm turning you down.
How can you turn me down when I haven't even asked you anything yet?
It's no use arguing. I've made up your mind. Here, let me cut your wings.
I've got a headache. I'm going back to the hotel.
You can't go now. The competition's about to begin.
Look, here's the money to pay for dinner. Here's $20. Wait a minute. Here's nothing in here but $1, 3 dimes, 5 pennies, and a button. This isn't my purse. I've lost my purse.
Barnaby, that purse you found.
Impossible. I couldn't imagine you without your purse.
It's Vandergelder's. We better get out of here.
What am I going to do? They don't know me here. I've never been here before. Stop eating that turkey. I can't pay for it.
Horace, it's the latest thing, a polka. And there's one dancer I particularly want you to see. Rudolph, move our table right down front so Mr. Vandergelder can observe this graceful movement.
Wait a minute. That man. That dancer.
Isn't he wonderful? Talent like that, he's sure to win the solid gold cup.
Come along, Mr. Malloy. It's been a perfectly wonderful evening, but I'm afraid we'll have to cut it a bit, well, excuse me, short.
Please look at the polka. Cornelius, I simply must have one dance.
But Vandergelder's right there. We've got to go.
We will go, but we'll dance our way out.
Cornelius Heckle.
Mr. Vandergelder.
Barnaby Tucker.
Mr. Vandergelder?
Home and gone. Dolly Levi, this is all you're doing. What are you up to?
Mr. Vandergelder, I can explain everything.
I don't want to hear any explanations. You're fired.
Officers, arrest that man.
All right, go on, Doris. Arrest them all. All of you.
What? I didn't do anything. I was just trying to dance. Vandergelder's fault. I did nothing. Oh, come on. Say something.
Quiet, quiet. That's better. Now you're all charged with disturbing the peace, assault and battery, inciting to riot, and several other equally serious violations of the law of this city. Now, is there anyone here to speak on your behalf? I say, is there anyone here to speak on your behalf? Mrs. Dolly Levi, counselor at law.
Your Honor, the defense rests.
What? I didn't do anything.
No, there is no need to call witnesses. Ladies and gentlemen, when I see upon that bench a brow that gleams with honor, a pair of snow-white whiskers that bristle with fair play, and a nose, I ask you to look at that nose, ladies and gentlemen, a nose that shines in the night like a flaming beacon of justice. proboscis unum. Your Honor, I ask for freedom for my client and a verdict of guilty for the only real culprit. Horace Vandergelder of Yonkers, New York.
Dolly!
The one man responsible for these grievous charges of willful destruction of private property.
A curtain torn, a vein of bruised, but a solid gold cup bent.
Cruelty to a poor, unfortunate minor. Would you mind repeating that, dear?
Excuse me, Mrs. Levi, but if it please the court, I have something to say.
Go right ahead, Mr. Hackle. I was just about to call on you.
Cornelius Hackle, if you dare testify against me, you'll be discharged.
You've already done that, Mr. Vandergelder.
I'll do it again.
You've done it again, too. But even if you hadn't, I'd still say what I have to say. Your Honor, I don't know anything about disturbing this peace or inciting to riot, but I do know that what happened to me today, which is the most important thing that can happen to a man, might never have happened if I obeyed your orders and stayed in Yonkers, New York. Your Honor, I'm talking about none other than love.
What? Are you trying to tell me that after 33 years, you've fallen in love because you've taken one evening off?
Oh, no, Mr. Vandergelder. I didn't fall in love with Mrs. Irene Malloy of this city in just an evening. An hour. No, even that's too long. What's less than a minute?
A second.
Less than that.
A moment.
That's it. I'll go slowly so you can take it all down. It only takes a moment for your eyes to meet, and then your heart knows in a moment you will never be alone again. I held her for an instant, but my arms felt sure and strong. It only takes a moment to be loved a whole life long. Isn't the world full of wonderful things? There I sat, cooped up in Yonkers, New York, for years and years. And all the time, wonderful people like Mrs. Irene Malloy were wandering around New York, and I didn't even know them at all. I don't know if you can see from where you're sitting. Well, for instance, the way her eye and her cheek and her forehead come together like that. Can you? I tell you right now, a fine woman is the greatest work of God on earth. You can talk all you like about Niagara Falls and the pyramids, but they aren't in it at all. Of course, I've seen women before, but today I talked to one equal to equal, and they're so different from men. And mysterious, too. I bet you can know a woman for 100 years without ever being really sure of whether or not she liked you. Today I've lost so many things. My job, my future, everything that people think is important. But I don't care. Even if I have to dig ditches for the rest of my life, I'll be a ditch digger who once had a wonderful day.
I missed a few words back there, Mr. Hackle, right after it only.
Takes a moment, but his arms felt sure and strong. It only takes a moment.
He held me for an instant, but his arms felt
pleasure now, Mrs. Levi.
Well, Horace, there's your life. Without niece, without clerks, without bride, and without your purse. It looks as if there's only one more thing to say.
If it's to ask me to marry you, Dolly Levi, never. Not if you ask me 1,000 times. I will never marry you.
That wasn't it at all. All I wanted to say to you, Horace, was... Goodbye!
What?
Goodbye.
Now, hold on, Dolly.
It's too late, Horace. I've failed. And when a woman fails, there's nothing else she can say.
Wait.
But...
Hey.
Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Don't try and stop me, Horace, please. Wave your little hand and whisper so long, dearie, you ain't gonna see me anymore. But when you discover that your life is dreary, don't you come on knocking on my door. 'Cause I'll be all down and singing that song that says you dog, I told you so. So wave your little hand and whisper so long, dearie, dearie should have said so long ago. Because you treated me so rotten and rough, I've had enough of feeling love. So wave your little hand and whisper so long, dearie, dearie should have said so long ago. For I can hear that choo-choo calling me on to a fancy new address. Yes, I can hear that choo-choo calling me on for that happiness express. I'm gonna learn to dance and drink and smoke and cigarettes. I'm gonna explore away from younger than the girls can't get and all those cold winter nights, Horace. You can snuggle up to your cash register. It's a little lumpy, but it rings. Don't come on knocking on me all down and singing that song that says you dog, I told you so. So, Horace, you will find your life a scared old story when you see your Dolly shuffle off to glory. Oh, I should have said so long ago.
And I wouldn't marry you, Dolly Levi. Not if you're the last woman on earth. Not if you asked me 1,000 times. I didn't need you before, and I don't need you now. Dolly Levi, you go your way, and I'll go mine. Dolly. Dolly, Dolly.
You stand, Mr. Vandergelder?
What? Oh, so it's you, Mr. Hackle. Come crawling back, have you?
Oh, no, Mr. Vandergelder. I just came by for my $146.38. You see, I decided to go into business for myself, and since the only business I know is hay and feed, I'm opening my own store.
And Cornelius has found the perfect location, Mr. Vandergelder, right across the street from you.
So you think you can compete with Vandergelders, do you? Well, just you try. Aha! Another one come
my back pay of $6.12.
You can't do this to me! Any of you! I'll go to the courts! I'll get lawyers!
Why, Horace Vandergelder, as I live and breathe, if you aren't handsome in that outfit.
Dolly Gallagher.
I know just what you're going to say, Horace. You're not satisfied with Ernestina. Well, I found you another girl, the ideal wife. But don't let me interrupt you. You were doing something. What were you doing?
Getting Cornelius's money, Dolly. $146
And 38 cents. And $6.12 of mine.
And the money my mama left me, $52.48.
38!
48.
Don't write it. It's money that you want. The safe's upstairs.
Money, 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 money. Mr. Vandergelder's money. It's like the sun we walk under. It can kill or cure. Vandergelder's never tired of saying that most people in the world are fools. And in a way, he's right, isn't he? Himself, Irene, Cornelius, myself. Yes, we're all fools and we're all in danger of destroying the world in our folly. But the surest way to keep us out of harm is to give us the 4 or 5 human pleasures that are our right in the world. And that takes a little money. The difference between a little money and no money at all is enormous and can shatter the world. And the difference between a little money and an enormous amount of money is very slight. And that can shatter the world too. All in how you use it. As my late husband Ephraim Levi used to say, money, pardon the expression, is like manure. It's not worth a thing unless it's spread around encouraging young things to grow. Anyhow, that's the opinion of the second Mrs. Vandergelder, which reminds me, Ephraim, I'm ready for that sign.
Well, don't just stand there. The front room's upstairs.
Well, Horace, as I was saying, I found you the ideal wife.
Dolly Levi, I don't want you to find me no ideal wives. If I want an ideal wife, I'll find one of my own. And I've found her. It's you, damn it.
Why, Horace.
I know I've been a fool about Mrs. Malloy and that other woman, but Dolly, forgive me and marry me.
Horace, stop right there.
What do you mean?
You know as well as I do, Horace, that you're the first citizen of Yonkers, and your wife would have to be a somebody. Answer me. Am I a somebody?
You are. Wonderful woman.
Oh, you're partial. No, Horace, it won't be enough for you to load your wife with money and jewels, to insist that she be a benefactress to half the town. By the way, it's bad business letting Cornelius open a shop right across the street from you. Better take him back and let him be your partner.
Partner?
And Barnaby can have Cornelius's old job.
Now see here, Dolly.
That way we'll all be together so we can dance at Ermengarde's wedding.
Now you've gone too far, Dolly. I'll dance at no weddings. Besides, I don't know how. It would take me weeks, months, years to learn. All right, I'll dance.
Why, Horace, I never thought I'd hear you say a thing like that.
The front room, idiot. Go on, get moving.
Horace Vandergelder, what is going on up there?
I just thought I'd have the front room done over in blue wallpaper.
Horace.
I know that old wallpaper ain't worn out yet, but you see, Dolly, I've always felt that money, part of the expression, is like manure. It's not worth a thing unless you spread it around a little, encouraging young things to grow.